With every Spider-Man movie that comes out, I always leave the theater saying that was the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made. And I realized something. I have recency bias. So how does this one stack up? Well, Spider-Man Brand New Day is great. And honestly, the recency bias goes out the window. It is hands down the best live-action Spider-Man movie ever made. The only thing that's stopping it from being my favorite Spider-Man movie is the Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is just too good, but it's still great and honestly fits so incredibly well in the MCU. I just saw an article from the Collider that was saying this is a movie that utilizes the MCU better than any other MCU movie. Kind of disagree. I feel like Civil War did a great job too. Also, all the Avengers movies, but I do understand where they're coming from because it shows you that this is a world where Spider-Man, the Hulk, Punisher, and now X-Men also exist in this universe. And we're seeing all these crossovers and they do it in a really good way. I felt like that was one of the best parts of the movie. It felt balanced, even though it was stuffed with a lot of characters, but not stuffed in a sense where it really felt crammed in like a mess of a movie. But I mean, they were able to stuff a lot while keeping a really balanced movie. So this might be hard for you to believe, but Spider-Man is not actually my favorite comic book character. That goes to Batman. I just happen to have a lot of Spider-Man stuff. But this one in particular really cements Tom Holland as my favorite live action Spider-Man. I've been struggling with that recently. It was always between Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. But after watching how he performed in No Way Home and seeing him in this movie, Tom Holland by far has to be the best live action Spider-Man. And I can't wait to see how he continues to progress the character, especially since he's now in the writer's room and is influencing the movies greatly. Speaking of which, Tom Holland's a bit of a gamer, which you really can see in this movie. Because when I was watching this, I just want to go home and play Spider-Man 2. In fact, I just reinstalled it and I'm excited to replay it. This is the MCU's first video game adaptation. And I think that Insomniac Games deserves so much credit for all of the combat in this movie. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they used the same fight choreography team that helped with the video game, because every finishing move, every action sequence looked identical to moments in Spider-Man 2. In fact, this was not really a straight up Spider-Man film. It was an adaptation to the video games. For anyone here who played Spider-Man 1, 2, or Miles Morales on PS4 or PS5, you know what I'm talking about. You're watching him fight on rooftops or traversing through the city and using even the mobile app, and you're thinking to yourself, that looks just like the video game. And there's reason for that. Tom Holland already admitted that when developing the movie, they were really wanting to adapt the video game, particularly for fight scenes, and a lot of the finishing moves were direct tie-ins from the games, which is not a bad thing. The Spider-Man video games are incredible and they have great storylines, and if they adapt it further, then I'm excited for the future, especially if you played Spider-Man 2 and you got to see how Venom was introduced. So as far as it being a video game adaptation, it really does work, and I'm excited to see what the future holds, because if Tom Holland's really in the writer's room, then he clearly knows what fans want, because he himself is a fan, and that's awesome. I've only seen it in Dolby, which is great. I love Dolby. The sound is incredible, but something even more interesting to me is that this is the first movie that's getting me to actually want to go see a movie in ScreenX. If you're not familiar with ScreenX, ScreenX is essentially this format where it stretches the screen off to the sides. So you're getting a virtual reality type view. But this is the first movie that was ever actually shot for that. I'm going to go up to the new Burbank location because I've seen some photos and it looks incredible. So keep an eye out. I'm going to do a review of my experience in ScreenX. I might also see it in Dolby 3D too, though, because there are some scenes where this might actually look cool in 3D. Even though this movie doesn't get IMAX screens, it's still cool that I want to see it in different formats. That's kind of exciting for a movie. It feels like an experience, and that's something that I really like to go to the movies for. Something I touched on earlier was the movie being stuffed. The movie is not actually overstuffed. It's just packed and balanced, because throughout the movie, I'm not thinking I want less of these characters, I want more. Like, we do get a lot of Frank Castle, aka Punisher, and I'm happy about that because Frank is great. If you saw the Punisher one shot, I can't wait until Frank Castle gets his own movie. I don't know if Marvel would do that, but I really hope they will. Otherwise, just give us more one shots or at least another season on Disney Plus. Either way, he was great throughout the movie. And the two people who I was surprised are not in the movie as much though are Ned and MJ. I was really expecting to see a lot more of them, but anytime they were on screen, it really cemented cemented them as the heart of the movie. MJ, Ned, and Peter all together again was some of the most emotional scenes throughout the movie, especially whenever Peter is really just heartbroken over where his and MJ's relationship is. I won't delve into that though. I don't want to spoil the movie. Whenever they were on screen, I was enjoying them a lot. The other characters that I actually wanted more of were Sadie Sinks and Bruce Banner. I could have done with more of the Hulk on the screen. He looks wild. And honestly, I'm so glad to get the Hulk back to being the Hulk. When I was watching it, I actually clapped the moment that he raged out and became the Incredible Hulk. Please, Marvel, figure it out. We need a World War Hulk movie. For those of you who feel like it might be a spoiler to say who Sadie Sinks is, I won't say it today. But if I do happen to ever do a spoiler review, we'll talk about it then. I could yap all day about these characters, but the point is that I wanted more, not less. So somehow, even though this movie is 2 hours and 25 minutes, it breezes by, and I would have been perfectly fine with this being a 3-hour film because I just wanted more interactions with these other characters. I could have done with more depth of who Sadie Sinks is. I could have seen Bruce Banner a little bit more to understand why he's wearing an inhibitor now, what happened to him having balance with the Hulk. I know it was part of She-Hulk. It still doesn't make sense to me though. I honestly could have done with more scenes with Frank, MJ, Ned, everybody else. Peter Parker though is the main part of the movie, and I'm glad because it's his movie. It's really about him just dealing with loneliness. Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe that's why they just left us wanting more, so we could kind of be in Peter's shoes of feeling like kind of lonely with just him. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but if you agree, let me know in the comments below. All right, there was one thing I was really surprised by after watching this movie, and it's not only that the movie had basically no connection to Doomsday, but it feels like it overshot it. So there's no real call outs or direct influence to Doomsday necessarily, but there are call outs and things that are going to have reverberating dramatic effect on the state of the MCU when the X-Men are introduced after Secret Wars. So one big part of this movie is inhibitors. They don't really seem to care about having tie-ins to Doomsday, but instead they're setting up something that's going to be really important to the future of the X-Men. I don't think we've seen inhibitors since Deadpool 2, but the MCU introducing them will definitely be huge moving forward. And I feel like I should make a video about this because it took me by surprise that they didn't take the chance to really do tie-ins or hints to Doomsday. It feels like that would be a lot more important, especially since Spider-Man has such a connection to Robert Downey Jr., but I'm guessing that they're saving that for Doomsday or Secret Wars. Not sure yet because rumors are that Tobey Maguire will be the Spider-Man in Doomsday, but we'll see when we get there. So where does Spider-Man Brand New Day rank for me? Well, for me, it's number 2 in terms of my overall favorite Spider-Man movies. And right now, because I'm not gonna lie, I have recency bias. Spider-Man Brand New Day is my favorite MCU movie. It's the only one where I find myself wanting to go see it multiple times. And while yes, I love Avengers Endgame, and I'm questioning myself because I also love Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, I am a crazy fan of Deadpool. But when I think about Spider-Man Brand New Day, this really feels like a true MCU movie. It's a movie that really utilized the characters well. It told a great story, and it's a movie that even right now, I kind of want to go to the theaters again and see it. And that's a great feeling. Also, just look at what it's doing at the box office right now. It is crazy. And I was just at the theater yesterday, and it was the craziest it's been in a while. Like, they had to extend the ropes out just to form a line for people to be able to buy popcorn. It looked like Disneyland. This Spider-Man movie is so good in so many ways, but for whatever reason, I can't get past Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, which are like tied for me as number 1. So I'm still going to rank it as my second favorite Spider-Man movie overall and my favorite MCU movie of all time. I know that's crazy to say, and I'm acknowledging recency bias because for all I know, Doomsday is going to come out, top it, and I'm going to be like, Doomsday is my favorite movie of all time. But I think that we as fans all do this. Every single time a new MCU movie comes out, we're all raving about it. Well, actually, that hasn't been true in recent years because all the people who are constantly saying comic book movie fatigue, which by the way, I am struggling to find this so-called comic book movie fatigue. It doesn't exist. John Campea says it best all the time. It's not comic book movie fatigue, it's bad movie fatigue. So I'm so sick of hearing that. And if you're one of those people saying that and then you're raving about Spider-Man Brand New Day, then try to be more genuine and just acknowledge that it's just that there are bad movies that were coming out for a little while well. And now when we get something as good as Spider-Man Brand New Day, everybody's hyped, everybody's raving about it, and everybody's craving another Spider-Man movie. So yeah, I loved Spider-Man Brand New Day. Truly Tom Holland's best. Every single one of them was just truly enveloping the characters. And this whole team up, this whole team up with Tom Holland and the creative team, I think it's Daniel Cretton directed this. I know it's the same guy who did Shang-Chi. All I know is I hope that they come back and work together for Spider-Man 5. Fingers crossed for a symbiote and a Venom suit and all that for Spider-Man 5, because that would be incredible. My thought process is Spider-Man 5 will be the Venom suit, and then Spider-Man 6 will be Miles Morales. That's my hope. Or reverse it, because if they introduce Miles in Spider-Man 5 and then the Venom suit in Spider-Man 6, then that would absolutely play out just like Spider-Man 2, which, by the way, if you're interested, I am going to be playing Spider-Man 2 and live streaming it. So keep an eye out on my channel for that. If you guys want to hang out and chat more about Spider-Man Brand New Day, maybe sometime we can chat and just like talk about video games and all that stuff. But yeah, this was my really long review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I had a lot of thoughts. So I hope that you like this review. If you somehow got this far, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I'm probably going to go see Spider-Man Brand New Day in ScreenX again pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that too. I'll post a review of my ScreenX experience. Anyways, I will see you in the next video. Hope that you've seen Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm assuming you have, because the movie almost crossed $1 billion in its opening weekend. As of right now, reporting is saying it's like $927 million, which is crazy. It made half of what Spider-Man No Way Home made in a weekend. That's incredible. So yeah, if you got to see it, let me know what your thoughts and how many times you've seen it. If you're gonna go see it again. Okay, cool. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.